Hello Steelers, and welcome to this game of O Group, another game of O Group. I ran a poll on the channel a little while ago and asked if people wanted to see another O Group game or a Through the Mud and the Blood game, and the answer was about 58 to 42% wanted an O Group game. So I played this game earlier in the week. Well, I umpired this game earlier in the week at the club between Lee and Gary and Paul, and it's basically set in the Operation Bagration, June of 1944, where the Russians do a huge counter-attack against the Germans. Well, not a counter-attack, a massive operation across the entire Eastern Front, and push the German army all the way back to Warsaw by the end of the year. It's a huge success, and there's something like 1.3 million Soviet soldiers involved in it. Massive. And I thought I'd recreate some of those early days on the tabletop just out in the east, as the Germans, the Soviets are coming up against the German line. And this is what it is. So what I've done is I've tried to recreate as close to the game that we played at the club, because the Germans at the club got absolutely rolled over by the Soviets, simply because they had a lot of hesitant units very early on and they just couldn't do anything, so they couldn't really move at all. So I thought, I'm going to refight this and just have a look at it again. I'm going to do slightly different to what I normally do, because I've already done the setup and I've done it as close as what I can remember how they set up at the club. So I basically am using the same forces, a very similar map from what I can remember of how it was set up at the club, but also just the units that they'd had on the table already. So I'm not going to do a previous deployment. I'm just doing the game as it starts. So what I'll do is I'll show you the forces that are involved, of course, and then I will also show you the table and explain the setup as well and how it's going to go from there. Alright, enough waffle, let's crack on. Okay, so straight up here we have the Germans. This is the reserves. They've already got a couple of units on the table. They have a couple of units that are in ambush, which I've actually put on the table because I'm playing solo, but the way I work ambush in solo is that although they're on the table, they can't be fired at until they fire. So it just works like that. Just it's a bit of a fudge, but it kind of works. But they've got basically two companies. So this is red company and white company here. They've got these. They've also got a third company, C company, but these took damage from the opening bombardment. They already had only 2 platoons in there anyway, but again, in the game that we played, I'm just following the game that we played, the Soviets gave them some real hammer at the start, and they actually destroyed an entire platoon plus a section as well. So they're down to 2 sections and their company commander, and that's it. So basically the Germans have got very few reserves really from what they've got. They've already got 5 combat patrols on the table. They do have 2 Panzerschrecks and also 2 medium machine guns, which they can attach to any units as well. They've got flexible reserves, so they can do that. And that's pretty much the German line of defence. The Soviets have got to inflict 3 FUBARs on the Germans. There's no objectives in the game itself. They are literally just driving through that German defence line, so they're just looking to smash them. The Germans have basically got to stop that within 16 turns. And then meanwhile over here we have our attacking Soviets. We have again 3 companies, A, B and C. C are currently in, they are in reserve, so they will come onto the table at some point in the future. We also I also have a couple of platoons that are already on the table as well from each of these companies, along with most of their combat patrols. They also have an attachment. They've got 2 T-34 platoons. One is attached to A company, one is attached to B company to give them a bit of armour support. Plus they also have as well over here an MMG, which is attached to this is C company of C platoon of C company, and also a flamethrower as well, which is attached to B company, B platoon of C company. So what I thought I'd do is try to weaken the German defences initially with the first two companies, and then send in the heavy guns and the flamethrower to try to finish off the German defences at the back end. Whether that works or not is it remains to be seen. But what I'll do now is I'll show you the table and show you why everything is set up already. So this is the table from the Soviets' point of view, looking across to attack. And as I say, we've got a small small Soviet village here, which needs to be cleared out. It's full of Germans. I've already said, we've got one platoon on the table here. This is White, or A, I think is A, company over here on the left hand side. They've got 2 artillery missions and also an 82mm mortar. They're also interdicting the Germans for the first 2 turns as well. Again, this is just going straight back to how it was in the game on Thursday. Then we've got the Red Company over here, and same again, they are made up of they've got 1 platoon on the table. They also have a heavy machine gun attached to them. They've got their observer up on the top of this hill overlooking the village as well. The Germans, meanwhile, over here, they have a couple of combat patrols over here. They've got 2, one in the built-up area here. The edge of the fences is basically a built-up area for each of these buildings, just so you're aware. The other fences are not. They are just they're just cover if you're up against them. They've also got another combat patrol just at the back there. Their forward observer is also in the village as well. He's able to see down those roads. And we have a combat patrol here and another one here in this building as well. So the Germans are quite tightly packed together, with a third one at the rear. There you can see they've got 1 artillery mission, but 82mm mortars. You'll also notice as well they've got a Pak 40 as well in the village. This is where they decided, Paul and Gary decided where their ambush was going to go. So you can see down both of those lanes basically from that point. And they also have as well up on the hill here an 88mm as well, which is guarding this flank basically. Quite an open area for that 88mm to go up on the field. So as I say, the victory conditions are literally for the Soviets to smash the German defences, and they do that by just causing 3 FUBARs on them. The Germans have got to hold out for 16 turns or cause 3 FUBARs on the Soviets to win. Can they do it? They certainly did at the club, but let's see if we can, if they can do it again this time. So as I said, I'm not going to be going through the whole of the dice rolling, but I've rolled for the orders phase. The Soviets got 2, 4, 6, 7 company orders, 1 HQ order, and then a 1, which is a wasted one. The Germans, on the other hand, they are going as they started in our club game. 2, 4, 6 company orders, no HQ orders, and a hesitant company. I've already rolled for it. It was the White Company on the right, the German right flank, unfortunately for them. But then I also rolled for initiative, and although the Soviets have now got 4 HQ orders because of this one against the Germans 2, the Germans actually won the initiative. So they are taking the initiative, so they are now getting an extra order, so they've got 7 in total. I've got 6 there, and they're going to take another one for taking that extra initiative. So I'll get moving and see what happens. Okay, so the Germans, although they've been quite unlucky in getting a hesitant company, they've actually been very lucky in their deployment dice. So they are being interdicted for 2 turns by the Soviets, but they've actually managed to get all the units onto the table that they wanted to in this first turn. And what I've done here is I've used up 4 orders. So first of all, I deployed a unit here from the combat patrol that was in the in this built-up area. These are here. They are then going to fire at this Soviet combat patrol. I'm kind of doing it out of order just to show you what's happened. They've also deployed another unit in here as well with the MMG, and again, as I said, they were very lucky in doing this. They both were able to roll. I rolled it off camera, but they did deploy. And then they've also deployed another combat patrol here and another one here. These are the ones that they've just used up. What I'm trying to do is use the combat patrols actually as screens, also to give them a little bit more choice as to where to deploy their third platoon should they need to. So they've got one at the back, they've got one at the front, one here. And what I mean by screens is enemy combat patrols can't move within 8 inches of enemy units. So these are basically now skirmish line further forward, and I put them as far forward as I can get. They're 8 inches away from the enemy combat patrols, so literally the enemy, the Soviet ones, can't move forward from the woods or in this behind these woods here on this field, because they can't get their combat patrols forward until they get rid of these German ones. The combat patrols are relatively easy to get rid of. They're brittle, but they're good for this kind of thing, so it's kind of stalling the Soviet advance already. However, we are also firing as well with these guys here. They are elevated, so that's 20 inches of range. They're just in range of those, and I think these ones here also are, yeah, they're just exactly on 20 inch. So both of these are going to fire at this combat patrol, see if they can just clear it off, just as a bit of a bugbear. But they're only hitting, they've only got 2 dice each because they've deployed, which is movement, and firing at combat patrols is also a minus 2d6, so it's 2 dice each. So the first one hitting on 4 up, they have hit 1. Combat patrols will save on a 3 up on their morale, so let's have a look at that. 4, it's saved already. And then we've got the other one over here, but this has got an MMG, so this will get to re-roll up to 3 dice. Obviously 2 in this case. So 2 threes, that's 2 misses, so they'll fire again. Re-roll those, sorry, so that's 2 hits this time. Saving again on a 3 up for that combat patrol. 2-2. They only take 1 shock. Once they take shock, they're off, so that has at least got rid of that semi-threat at this point. Okay, I can hope you see this through the trees, or not maybe. So what the Soviets have done here on the left, their left flank, spent an order to move forward combat patrol over here, just to get it up into the woods. It's in line of sight of that 88, but the 88 is remaining hidden at the moment. We've also been unable to shift forward another combat patrol over here until we can clear off these ones. So I've moved forward this section here, this platoon should I say, forward, and they are going to fire at this combat patrol in the buildings here. So we're actually firing pretty poor at these, so this is only 2 dice because they've moved and they're firing at combat patrols. So they're hitting on 4s up, there's no spotting with combat patrols, they're automatically saving on 3s up. Let's see, a 3 and a 6 and a 5, that's a hit. Those combat patrols saving on a 3 up. So it's failed 1, it's taken 1, so that's actually removed it off the table, which is a reasonable result. So it means that they can start moving the other combat patrol at least around this side. And then on the Soviets' right flank, they've moved forward a combat patrol in the back, on their extreme flank as far as they can get forward. Just try to get around on the Germans' flank if they can. Then they've moved forward this unit here. These have moved forward. They are going to fire at the Germans in the woods. The Germans are going to try to see if they can get opportunity fire before they fire. So they're going to fire at the end of their movement, but before they fire, they'll need a 4 up if they can. Let's have a look. No, they can't do it, so the Soviets get to fire first. So they're going to fire at the Germans in the building. It could be worthwhile going into the combat patrol, but they just need to move into it to get rid of it, so it's not worth their use of an action. Also, one other thing is I just moved their foo just slightly to the left because he can't actually see through the woods where he was positioned, so then he'll bring down some fire next turn on these Germans in the building. But we're shooting the Germans in the building. They are currently obscured, so we're rolling a spotting dice as well as everything else. So they've moved. They're firing into buildings, so that's a minus 2, I think. So yeah, we're down to 2 dice with those Soviets. They do have an MMG attached. So let's see what happens. They're not spotted, but they've hit with 2 dice. Germans are saving on a 3 up because they've not been spotted. Both are saved, no effect. The Germans, on the other hand, are returning fire. Those Soviets are in cover. They're not at close range, so they're going to need spotting dice, and there isn't any German attachments with that. It's just a rifle platoon, so they're firing down. They're hitting on a 4 up, and they've not spotted, and they've only hit 1. Very poor shooting there. However, the Germans do get that special rule. I think if they roll more than 1-6, they get an extra 1, but they haven't, so we can forget that. Soviets are now saving on a 3 up, 5 they've saved, so relatively desultory firing over here. And then just to finish off the Soviets' turn, and actually the turn itself, they've actually just deployed another combat patrol here. 18 inches away from their company commander and 8 inches away from the enemy as well, but they're trying to force a way up around onto this flank here on the German side. And this is kind of really what you want to be doing with combat patrols, using them as screens and also just as pushing forward if you can. And then the Soviets have used their final order to order the tanks that are attached to red platoon company to attack into the village as quick as possible. They've deployed and they've basically done a rapid move straight down the road, 3d6. The Germans have now sprung their defence, their surprise with the ambush with the Pak 75, giving that an order. They had a couple of orders left over, so they're firing at the tanks. This one here, 7 up, he needs to hit. Let's have a look. That's a 9, that is a hit. It's not a critical hit though, but it is a hit. So the Soviets' saving roll is they have a strike of 9 against their armour of 7. So it's going to be a saving roll -2, and they are spotted because they're in the open. Let's have a look. That's 8, -2 is a 6. 6 is damaged, so first tank has taken 1 hit. They can't return fire because they did that rapid move, unfortunately for them. Okay, just on the orders rolling and things. Germans this time got 3 HQ orders, taking them to 5. They got 5 company orders and then a 1, so they are no longer hesitant, which is good for them. The Soviets, on the other hand, they got 2 HQ orders, taking them up to 6. 5 company orders and then 2 1s. So this is okay. It's a reasonable spread. I've done the rolling for the initiative. Soviets got double 1 despite their +6 for their HQ, and then the Germans got a 9. So the Germans have got the initiative again and they are going to take it. So they'll get that extra order, gives them 6 company orders and also a chance to do some hammer at least on the Soviets. So the Germans, what they've done here is they have moved their forward observation officer out of the building because he was under threat from these guys here. So I've just pulled him back because he was also too close to fire any artillery at them anyway, so there was no point in having him there. They've also then moved the combat patrol in the gardens into the building. This is then deployed, and these are then going to fire at these Soviets here. I'll do that in a second. They've also deployed another combat patrol as well, and this one is over here, and they've done this so that they're now blocking this Soviet one that is coming up here. So although it might not get deployed on, they're trying to keep them on the table just so at least they've got a spread of combat patrols across the entire area, just stopping that Soviet advance and soaking up their orders to get rid of them as well. That's the other thing. So we'll start with the firing over here. It's starting with, it would be normally 6, however we are firing with they have moved because they've deployed, so that's another 2 off. I'm going to say these are obscured because they are in a field. It's not a heavy field, but it is a field, so they're firing with a spotting dice as well. They are not at close range, they're about 8 inches away, but they're hitting on 4s up, spotting on 4s up as well. So look, they don't have anything attached to them. So we've got 1 hit and no spot. Soviets saving on a 3 up. 4 they've saved, so no effect. The Soviets are going to actually react to that, and they are going to return fire. So they are going to be firing with 6 dice normally. They haven't moved in this particular phase. However, they are firing into buildings, which I think is a -2 off their firing dice. Yeah, it's -1 for attacking. And also the Germans are obscured, so we're hitting on 3s up. So let's have a look. And again, they don't have an attachment. So we're hitting on 4s up for everything. They haven't spotted, they've landed 1 hit. So the Germans are saving on a 3 up. A 1, they've actually taken the first shock of the game. Then we've got more German firing. This is the AT gun again, it's firing at that same target. This time firing on a 7 up, and it's not obscured, so let's just see. 4, that's a miss. Do the Soviets return fire or do they wait to their own fire phase? They are both going to fire back actually. So this is T-34, it's firing with, I believe it's got a HE of 4. So let's, both of them going to fire because they're firing at a single target, which is the AT gun. It is obscured, and also -1 dice as well for being damaged for the first one, and then also firing into buildings is another -2 as well, so that's not great for them, is it? So the first one is only rolling 1 dice with a spotting dice. So look, they have spotted and they have also hit. Let's see what happens to it. Saving on a 4-up. That's a 1. That isn't a save, so that's first shock on that gun. I don't think it's going to last very long, at least into next turn. And then same again, an extra dice for the other T-34. So that's a hit and a spot as well, a 6 and a 5 there. Germans saving on a 4-up. 2, no. So they are now hesitant. So that's not good, so they're going to have to lose some of their shock next turn at least. Then it's the final part of the Germans firing. They are firing with these chaps here in this building, firing down on the Soviets in the woods. So let's have a look. They're hitting on 4s up and spotting as well with a 4-up as well. So they have hit 1, no spots. So the Soviets are saving on a 3-up. 5, they've saved it. They are going to return fire simply because I don't have a great many of Soviet orders left at this point anyway, so they may as well just fire as they can. They are not moving, so but they are firing into buildings, so -2. So 4 dice plus a spotting dice. Let's just see if they do hit them. They haven't spotted them, but they've landed 3 hits on them. They get to re-roll 1 because they've got an MMG, so that's still 3 hits. So the Germans are there saving on they haven't been spotted, so they are saving on a 3-up. That's 2 saves, but 1 shock on those Germans. So things are getting hot. Just to quickly show you here, the Soviets have used their remaining two orders to push forward these 2 combat patrols. They're trying to get as far up this flank as possible to be able to then turn in on the Germans and hook around. But they are then also going to be spending 2 HQ orders to drop some artillery from the Fu. So the Soviet Fu is calling in the battalion mortars because he knows he's going to get those rather than having to roll for it. And he's using this this area here as a target, so it's going to hit. If it hit whatever it does, it'll hit the AT gun. It'll also hit that company that's in there as well. So let's just see what their accuracy is first of all. 5. That's harassing, so that's not great for the Soviets, is it? But it is 5 hits on each of these targets. So let's go with the AT gun first of all. Hitting on 4s up, not a single hit. It's kept its head down. That's very lucky for the Germans. And then fire against the other company is that is 2 hits, but it's harassing fire, so they are actually saving on a 3 or above. 1 save, 1 shock. Because it's not big guns, they don't take any excess shock for staying in there. Now, because of that, what I think I'm going to do then is expend another company HQ order to get those tanks to fire again, just in case the Soviets don't get their they don't get the initiative in the next turn. So they're both going to fire once again at that German AT gun. It's already on 2 shock at this point. So the first one that's damaged, you remember it's only rolling 1 dice because it is firing into buildings and it is damaged, so that's -3 dice of 4. It's spotted but not hit, and then the second one is only rolling 2 dice. So it's hit but not spotted, so they're saving on a 3 or above. 6 they've saved, so no effect. Here are the results of the orders phase in the initiative. So the Soviets got 6 company orders, 1 HQ order taking them back up to 4, and then 2 1s, nothing. The Germans got 3 6s. One of these was a HQ order because they'd already got 5, so that takes them up to 6 now. And then they got 8 company orders in total because the 2 6s converted, no 1s. Did the roll for initiative. Germans once again have got an 8 plus their 6. That gives them 14 against the Soviets. Unfortunate 3 plus their 4 is 7. Germans are going to take the initiative and then again take the extra orders. So that gives them 9 orders plus their company orders as well. Alright, so I've got a good number of things happening over here. I put orders down for everything. First of all, this combat patrol deployed the anti-tank section, the Panzerschreck. This is going to now fire at the T-34 over there. It is firing Fire has moved, so it's going to be a -1 to hit anyway, but it is with a close target. I don't think that really counts for handheld anti-tank, because it only fires 6 inch plus six D6 inch anyway. That T-34 is actually 6 inches away, so there's no point rolling that extra D6, it's within range. They've also then deployed the combat patrol that are just undeployed, so basically the one that's come straight back out of reserves. That's come in here again just to block that the Soviets as they're attacking from this end. They're also going to be firing with these guys over here. We're going to try to rally them and fire them. Depending on what happens with the Panzerschreck, well, first of all I'm going to try to rally the 75 anyway, and then I might give it a company commander order to fire at the T-34, and then we've got a bit more firing from the building as well over here, but we'll cover that in a second. So first of all, we've got the Panzerschreck. We're starting with that. It is hitting on, well, let's just see, it needs basically a 7 up, -1, but it needs an 8 up. That's an 8, so it has just hit. It's no special damage or anything. It has a firepower of 8 against the side armour of the T-34 of 4. So that's going to be a -4 on the effect. Oh, I didn't check if it was spotted as well. No, it is spotted, it's in the open. What am I on about? So their saving roll, so -4 on this. 3 -4 is 0, bang. That's just gone boom. Okay, so that's one good thing for the Germans. That is the first towards a FUBAR for the Soviets as well. Now, I'm going to try to rally the tank, sorry, the gun over here. So this is a 4 and above. Actually, he's going to go for a 3 dice rally, which is a bit tricky, but it's got 2 shock on it, and I want to get rid of all the shock if I can. So let's just see. We need 4s up. He's failed every one of them, so that will run away. Basically, the crew abandoned the gun, so there's not much point leaving that on. So that is a thing. Not bad things happen, but that's a unit off for the Germans as well. We weren't expecting that, were we? So that gun has been abandoned, and they've run away and lost that order. Right, not sure what to do now. Well, let's move on to the firing, the infantry firing as well. Also, I deployed an infantry unit. I moved the combat patrol and then deployed an infantry unit in that back corner. They're going to start firing at those Soviet combat patrols. They're reacting to that Soviet threat on the left. So we've got these Germans firing at the combat patrol over here. So these are hitting on 4s up. Only 2 dice because they moved and they're firing at combat patrol. So it's not great. It's 2 hits though. So they are combat patrols, saving on a 3 up. Save 1, fail 1. So that's actually at least removed that combat patrol. Then we have our firing from this strong point. These are firing. They have 1 shock, but I'm not going to try. I'm going to try to reduce it with a rally roll first of all for their first action. They've got rid of that shock, so that was worthwhile doing. I always forget about that. So that's taking them back down to 0 shock. Firing with 6d6 and a spotting dice. They've spotted Soviets and they've hit with 2, so the Soviets are saving on 4s up. Let's have a look. 6 and a 6, and that saves. Do the Soviets fire back? Yeah, go on, they're going to. Because they may as well at this point, I think. They're firing with 6d6 -2 because firing into buildings, so that comes down to 4, and also with that spotting dice as well. So let's just get those rolled, see what happens. And that's a spot, and 3 hits plus a re-roll because of the MNG. 4 hits, and those Germans are now saving on a 4 up. They've sewed all of them apart from 1, so they've taken 1 shock back. They got rid of 1, but they've taken it back. Then we've got our Germans over here. They are going to try to rally, so they're going to do that with 1d6. 4 up. They've got rid of it? No. So they can either move, fire or rally. They are going to fire, but with reduced firing. They're firing at those Soviets and they are obscured because they're in the field. So 6, they've spotted them, but they've only hit with 1 hit. Soviets are then saving on a 3 up. Oh no, they've sorry, it was a 4 up because they've been spotted, so they've taken a shock. Are they going to fire back? Yes, they are. They're going to return fire simply because they may as well try and do what they can. So they're firing back with 5d6 and a spotting dice into buildings -2, so that's 3d6 and a spotting dice. have a look. Hit 1, no re-rolls on that, not spotted, so the Germans are saving on 3 up. That's a 5, they've passed it, so no effects. Okay, over here the Soviets are going to try to reduce this German strong point here and then use it as consolidation points if they can. That's the idea. So they've deployed another unit here. I'm kind of forgetting my own lessons basically, you know, draw as much fire onto these places as you can. So they move the combat patrol across here, deployed a unit here, that is firing, this is firing, the tank is firing as well. That's basically all of their orders. They haven't got really anything else they can do this turn because they're definitely on the back foot at the moment. And I don't want this attack to bog down into a firefight, so I need to reduce that, get rid of the unit that's in it, and just move on, basically. Right, so first one is firing is the one with the... Let's go with these guys down here. They're probably not going to do a great deal. They've fired... they've moved, should I say, so it's -2. Firing at buildings as well is another -2, so they're only rolling 2 dice and a spotting dice. Let's just see. So that's a 4 and a 5, so that's a hit but no spot. So the Germans are saving on 3s up. They've saved 1, failed 1. The Germans going to return fire on that. No, they're going to wait. And then the tank is firing though. Next up, so that would normally be 4. -2 because firing into buildings. It hasn't moved, so we're just firing that. 4 and a 1, so it hasn't spotted, but it is. It has hit 1. So again, Germans are saving on a 3 up. A 5, they've saved that, so they're not suppressed just yet. And then finally, we got this Soviet section over here. Sorry, platoon over here firing. Let's have a look. They haven't spotted. They've hit 1. They get 3 re-rolls because they've got that machine gun in there, remember? So that's another hit. So that's 2 hits on the Germans, saving on 3s up. Saved 1, failed 1. So the Germans are now suppressed in there. Is this time for an assault? Yeah, their company commander is right there. They're going to use a company commander order to then press the attack in here. So it's going to cost 1. They're going to take it from their HQ orders. That drops them down to 3. They are then going to they need to roll to see what they get. They're a first-rate battalion, so a 6 and they can carry on. They just cost them that 1 order. 5, that's going to cost them 2 orders, so they'll take another 1 off the HQ, so that drops them down to 2 on their HQ orders. They will then fire before they go in. So they're firing with 2 dice and a spotting dice. Let's have a look. That is a 3 and a 2 and a 1. That's a miss, but they have a machine gun. They can re-roll it. So that is a hit. 1 hit but no spot. So they are saving on a 3 up. They haven't saved it, so that's a KIA roll straight away for the Germans. 2 is no effect on them. They're okay. Now the Germans will get to react. Do they run away? That'll cost them an order. They've got 2 orders left over. They're hesitant, so yeah, they're gonna. I'm gonna try to get them out of there because I think they'll probably lose this. So they need a 4, 5, or a 6 to be able to do this. 3, no, they've got to stand and fight. Soviets, though, how far do they get? If they get within an inch of, I think they're just 6 inches away from that house. If they contact that combat patrol, it gets rid of it. Yes, 6. They're going to need a 5 up, 2d6 to get them in. That's an 8. They've got in. They are going to pile through into there. Takes out that combat patrol at least. That's not a foobar or towards the foobars for the Germans. So we get them into the building. Take their orders with them. And then, so now we go on to the close combat. So Soviets are starting with 6 dice because they have 3 sections, and each of those gives them 2d6. The Germans, unfortunately for them, only have 3. Soviets are attacking into buildings. They take off 1, and this every hit counts here. So we're looking at 4s up. So this just counts them up. Soviets have scored 1, 2, 3 hits. The Germans have scored 2. So that forces the Soviets into being hesitant. But that is a KIA on the Germans plus a KIA roll as well. So that's an automatic one for the 2 hits. So So just take that fella out, and then also we roll again. 5 or a 6, and no, he stays. However, the Germans have lost, so they will now retreat 3d6. The Soviets will get to rally as well, so let's just quickly rally the Soviets, see if they can. 5 is a rally, so that takes them down to 1. The Germans then retreat 3d6. Let's see how far they go. That is, oh god, that's a long way. 9, 15 inches. I don't think it's going to take them off the table. No, it doesn't. It puts them at the back of the field. So I'll just get that set up. The Soviets have captured a position, and they will probably consolidate on that next turn. Okay, this is turn 4 now, and we have the orders phase here. So the Soviets got 2, 4, 6, 8 company orders, 1 HQ order, taking them up to 3. The Germans got 3 HQ orders. They were already on 5, so that takes them up to 6. But then they got another 6 company orders, so that gives them 8 company orders in total. I rolled for initiative. The Germans got 6 plus their 6, that's 12. The Soviets got 11 plus their 3, that is 14. So the Soviets have taken the initiative, and they've got that extra order with them, so they now have 9 orders. They should have, yeah, 2, 4, let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 orders in total for this turn. So let's see what they do with those. Alright, so we've got over here on the Soviet left flank, they've deployed onto this combat patrol because it just wasn't getting forward. They're going to try to destroy the German AT section there, just by fire, really, if they can. So they've deployed, so that means they've moved. The AT section is obscured, so they're going to need a spotting dice, so they're only rolling 4 dice against it. Let's just see, 4's up. This is going to be a lot more firing over on the right flank in a second. They haven't got any attachments, but it's 2 hits and not spotted. They're saving on a 3 up. 1 and a 5 no, so that has at least given them pause for thoughts. A bit of damage. And then over here we've got this platoon over here. These are firing, these are holding shock. Actually, I'm going to try to get them to get rid of that shock, so let's just see. 4 up, no they don't, so they're not going to get rid of the shock, they are just going to hold it and then fire at the Germans in the building. It's not going to be great fire this, but I'm just trying to keep them occupied at the moment on this side. Not spotted, but that is 2 hits. So 2 hits on those Germans, not spotted. They are then saving on a 3 and above. A 1 and a 5, that has actually given them a hit, so they are then going to return fire. So they are holding shock as well, so but firing at them in the open. So 5 dice with 3. This is a bit piecemeal at the moment over here, but hopefully they're going to try to change the tide in a second or 2 on the right flank. The Germans here have hit with 4 hits, but they haven't spotted, so that's 4 saves on the Soviets, saving on a 3 up. That's another shock, but everything else is saved. So that's the firing on this side. Yeah, pretty desultory, as you would expect. Okay, so I've already set it up, but what's happened is that combat patrol has moved to the edge of the forest, and then it's deployed this Soviet platoon here. The Germans over here are actually going to try to fire at it, the combat patrol, before it deploys. So when it finished its movement, they are firing. So they're actually firing as a combat patrol. They haven't moved. So they are firing 4 dice at it, and there's no spotting dice because it's combat patrol, but they've hit with 3. Combat patrol itself is saving on a 3 up. If it fails any of these, then I'll take those Soviets off. If it doesn't, then they will deploy and fire, otherwise they'll save themselves an order. So let's have a look. I know it's past 2, so we use the Soviet order up. But that is also, I'm just going to take that unit off for now, that has also used up a German order as well, so it's done what it was supposed to do, so I'm not too fussed about that. So over here we've got the Soviet attack from the newly garrisoned unit over here. I had wanted to drop artillery on this position, but they're too close at this point. This is building to building fighting where they're trying to clear them out. But we're going to fire with the tank. That's going to fire first of all at our building, so that's starting with its 2 dice, -2 for the for firing into buildings, but it's spotting dice as well. So 4's up, 2 hits and a spot. So these are saving on a 4 up for the Germans. A 1 and a 4. So no, they've already taken 1 shock, so that puts them on 2. Now what we're going to try to do is, I've moved this unit forward as well here, again just to get in a little bit closer. So they've moved, so that's 2 off, and also 2 off for firing into buildings as well, and also a spotting dice. Let's see how good or bad this is. You never know. They've spotted them and they have hit one, so the Germans there are saving on a 3 up. A 4 up. No, they haven't, so that's suppressed the Germans. So that means they can't return fire, because they couldn't fire at the tank, and they can't fire those now. So what these are going to do over here is, we are going to try to rally and then fire, and then they're going to probably use that company commander order again to get into this building. See if they can clear this one out. Let's have a look. 6, they've rallied, so we can take that straight off. Then they are firing. So currently they're not moving. So they are firing with 6d6, -2 for that movement, -2 for firing into buildings, and a spotting dice. So let's just see if this works out or not. They haven't spotted, they've hit 2, they've got a machine gun, so that's a re-roll. So that's another hit, so that's 3 hits, but not spotted. So Germans are saving on a 3 up. Save 2, failed 1. That is a KIA roll, 5 or a 6. No, it isn't. It hasn't killed anything, but at least they're still intact. So now what the Soviets are going to do, because those Germans are suppressed and they don't want to give them any chance to recover from this, they're going to push forward. So they are going to spend another order, and then their company commander order. So I'm just going to mark the company commander with his order. He's in these trees somewhere, hiding from me. Where are you, fella? I'll just put it down there, I'll remember it in a second. And then we have to roll a d6 to see how many extra orders it is. So look, 1, that is 2 more orders. Thankfully for the Soviets, they have got 2 more orders left over, so I'm going to stick those down. So it's cost them 3 orders. They are then going to pile in to this assault here, and let's just see what happens. So first of all, they are firing before they go, and firing into buildings, so it's only 2d6 plus a spotting dice. That's a 4, and a 4, and a 3. So that's a spot, and a hit, and a re-roll for that machine gun. No. And then finally, so the Germans are saving on a 4 up. 6, no, they're okay. Now we've got to see how far the Soviets go. They are 6 inches away. Well, actually the built up areas between them are 2 inches, so anything above a 2 inch they're in. So let me just pile these in again. So these are definitely heroes of the Soviet Union, I think. I think the Germans might get a bit of a better defence on this, because they have got an MMG in there. The Germans, are they going to stand or are they going to run? I'm going to see if they can move out. I don't want them to get splattered. So 4 up, and they can. 3, no they can't, so they've got to stand and fight, and that was an order given to them to react to that. So that's using up their orders, which is good for the Soviets. Put their orders with them, their big pile of orders. And the roof back on the house. And so for combat, because the enemy have they've got the machine gun in there, that might change things up a little bit. No, it doesn't, but it does give them an extra defending section. So they've got 4 because they're suppressed, whereas the Soviets have got 6 going into buildings, 5. So let's just see, all hits count as before. Let's see if they can clear a second building. So they've got 1, 2, 3 hits on the Germans. The Germans have caused 1, 2, 3 hits on them. So that's the same, however, it's the same amount of kill hits. So let's just see, the Soviets become suppressed because they had no shock. The Germans, on the other hand, they take hit and a KIA roll as well. They take 1 full hit and a KIA roll. So let's see if that KIA is, let's see if that hit is on their machine gun. 1 or 2 it is. No, it isn't, so it's one of the rifle sections. And then the KIA, 5 or a 6, another section is off as well. No, it isn't. So they're, okay-ish. But because they lost a kill, a full kill, they have definitely lost that combat. So they are also retreating 3d6. They've got 9 inches back. So let me just quickly measure where that is. They've got back to here behind this fence. with all their bits and pieces. Unfortunately, that puts them. They're obscured. They're in the cover, and then the Soviets have once again taken this building here. So they're now in possession of pretty much 2/3 of the village at this point, and I think at this point they are pretty happy with where they are. Then the final action for the Soviets in their offensive phase is they are deploying their company commander for the 3rd platoon, so they're bringing on the reserves. This has cost them 2. It's HQ orders, so they're down to 1 HQ order. They've also brought on 2 combat patrols as well with him. They're consolidating on this building. I had initially thought this field was going to be the consolidation point, but because it isn't, it's cost me 2 to put them in that building there. So they're pushed forward. They managed to leapfrog through the German defences, and they've also got now a line forward of them as well, at least. So over to the Germans' turn. Okay, the Germans are currently scrambling to get their defence line into a little bit of semblance of order at this point. They deployed a platoon over here. These are going to just fire at the Soviets over there in the open. This is just a typical 6 dice with a spotting dice firing, so I just need to find another blue dice. There we go. So these are hitting on 4s up, spotting on 4s up. Soviets have already got 2 shot. They haven't spotted them. They don't have any attachments in that German patrol unit, so the 2 hits. Soviets saving on 3 up. Let's just see. 4 and a 5, they've saved those. No problem. Now over here we're going to try to rally before they do any firing, so they're going to try to drop off 1 shock point, or should they go for... Soviets not really attacking over there, but I want them... I'm going to go for a 3 dice rally on these, simply because I want them back in fighting order, I think. So that's 2 off, so that's taking their shock off, but it means they can't do anything else this turn. Then they're going to use their only AT capability over here to fire at this other tank again. So let's have a look. They're going to try to rally off that shock first of all. Yes, they've done it, so let's get rid of the shock at least. And then they're firing at that T-34, so hits up on a 7. It's not obscured because you can see it's bum. A 5 is a miss, so no effect, unfortunately for them. Then they are using this platoon here. This is using a HQ order because they're pretty much run out towards this point. They're going to attack the Soviets because the Soviets at least are suppressed in there. They are not firing before they go in because they can't. They were facing the wrong way. They're just doing a quick attack. And also they're attacking into buildings, so they're only rolling 4 dice. This could be pretty tricky. The Soviets are suppressed, so they are only rolling 4 dice themselves as well. This is probably the best chance though. All hits count, as you remember in close combat. Let's have a quick look. So the Soviets have caused 1 hit, the Germans have caused 3 hits. So that's good for the Germans, not so good for the Soviets. I forgot to mention that I did actually do a roll for the rallying. Did it off camera and they failed it, so that's why they're suppressed. So 1 hit against the Germans, it only causes 1 shock. 3 hits on the Soviets, that's 1 KIA plus a KIA roll. Let's see if the KIA is on the MMG. 1 or 2 it is. No, it isn't. And then let's see if that KIA hits 5 or 6. It does. No, it doesn't. So they just lose one section of infantry. But they are also forced to retreat because they have taken more hits and more kills. So they fall back 3d6. It doesn't matter at this point. We consolidated on that strong point. So I say the Soviets have consolidated on that strong point. So these run back 6 inch, back behind cover. They can't get into that building. It's full of other Soviets at this point. Well, actually, no, it's not. It's only got a battalion commander in there. So they will fall back to that building and fall back to cover. The Germans then will take that building. Let's put them in there so they're back in control of that at least. They then get a rally roll, which, as I said, I forgot to do it with the Soviets before. Send these orders. So we'll roll that. 4, 5 or 6, they can get rid of that shock. No, they can't. They still have shock, but at least they're back in control of that building, if nothing else. And then finally for the Germans, they're going to try to rally both of these. 3d6 rally. They move their company commander back as well, just out of the line of sight of the Soviets. So the first one, these are both suppressed. First one, they're doing full 3 rallies. 4s up, It's past 1, so it's taken them to a 2 at least. It's kind of half recovered them. And then the other one, let's see, same again, 4's up. They passed 2, so they've dropped down to 1 shock. So they're still pretty damaged, but they are fighting on. So here are our rolls. I think this is either turn 5 or 6. I've kind of lost count at this point. We've got, the Germans got 6, so they got a HQ order, taking them up to 5 because they spent 2. Then they got 2, 4, 6, 7, and also a 1. Company orders, 7 company orders. The Soviets got 2, 4, 6, 7 company orders, 2 HQ orders, taking them up to 3 because they'd spent most of theirs. The Germans rolled a 5, plus their 5 is 10 for the initiative, whereas the Soviets rolled a 4, plus their 3 is a 7 for their initiative. So the Germans win, they took an extra order, and they are also seizing the initiative as well. Okay, over here the Germans have probably got the upper hand, so they're just trying to take advantage of that, really, try to cause as many fubars on the Soviets. The Soviets have only lost 1 unit at this point. These guys are ripe for taking, so these are going to fire at them first of all from their flank, so they're hitting them with 66, nothing else, but I do need a spotting dice. So let's just see. 4's up for everything, so they have spotted. No rerolls here because there's no MMG, but they have hit 2. So what we're looking for is to suppress these as much as possible. So 2 hits on them. They are saving on a 3 up, no 4 up, sorry, because they're spotted. 2 4s, they've saved that. They've also deployed another combat patrol over there. They can't deploy anything on it this turn because they've just deployed the combat patrol. But they're just trying to see, just to try to get a bit of strength here. Now, these are going to fire. Depending on how the fire turns out, they may actually assault into these. If they can get them shocked and suppressed, then they'll probably assault them. But let's just see what the fire does first of all. Not with rolls like that, they're going to do anything. So they've rolled a 5. They've not spotted. Soviets are saving on a 3 up. You never know, they might fail this. Let's see, they've failed it. So that's suppressed the Soviets. So what they're going to do now then is they're actually going to spend some of their HQ orders on the company commander over there. So I'm just going to mark him to show that he's used. It's up. So it's going to cost them an extra order. They have actually got another order left over, company order, so I'm going to spend that. And then also see how many extra orders it costs them. Let's have a look. A 6, it'll be nothing. 5 is another order, so that then takes it out. I'm going to take it out of the HQ orders because I've got orders assigned elsewhere for what I want to do. So now they are going to fire at the Soviets before they attack. So they are rolling 4d6 because they're just about to move in. So let's see. And they have spotted them and hit with 1. Soviets are then saving on a 4 up. They haven't saved it, so that's a KIA roll. 5 or a 6. No, they're okay. Now the Germans are going to need to charge in. So this is maybe where their plan might come unstuck. Let's just have a quick look. They need to be within an inch of those Soviets. It's a bit of a gamble this, but if they can take them out, well, they're only 5 inches away, so they only need a 4 or above really on their movements. So let's have a look. Yeah, oh god, that was close. 5. So they're in. So it is a close assault. And the Germans are rolling 6 dice. Soviets are rolling 3 because they're suppressed. Soviets could react to this. They are going to try to run away. Actually going to try to retreat. So 1 to 4 they do. No, they don't. They've got to stand and fight. So we are rolling for that. Fighting, every hit counts. Close combat. It's always a good way to finish an enemy. So let's just see. So the Germans have scored 4 hits, so that's 2 of the Soviets killed. And the Soviets have scored 1 hit. That's the Germans there. So that's killed 2 of their sections. It hasn't caused a foobar. Well, it might do because they will now retreat. 3d6, and also because they are down to 1 section in that platoon, they're going to have to do a morale test, otherwise they will run away anyway. But let's see how far they run away first of all. 5 inches, so that's around about here. There's no point measuring it. Germans get to rally first of all, so let's do that. 4 up, they can rally that order off. No, they haven't. Soviets, do they stand? Do they get dispersed? Let's have a look. 4 and above they do. they don't. So they have actually lost their 4th section, and that is the first foobar of the game, and it's on the Soviets. That is quite surprising actually. So this is our first foobar of the game, and it's also a command crisis as well for the Soviets. So what they do is, because I'm doing it solo, I have to roll dice against myself. So first of all, the Soviets roll the dice, so this is them choosing the dice number themselves, so 4. So the Germans get 2 rolls. If they match it with a 4 in the first roll, then the Soviets lose 2 HQ points. If they match it with the second roll, then the Soviets lose 1 HQ point. Otherwise, it's nothing. So look first. Right, that has knocked the Soviets down from 3 down to 1 on their HQ orders. That is not good. Alright, we've got quite a number of things happening over here again. I've got the Panzerschreck is firing once again, that T-34. Let's have a look. 7 up, it's a hit. 7, it has actually hit it, so that's good. So the Soviet defense roll is it's got an 8 strike against a 5, so it's a -3 on their defense roll. So let's just see what we get. 3, 4 becomes a 1. Bang, that's another Soviet T-34 gone. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, that's 6 Soviet sections have now been destroyed. 2 more, and then they will get another foobar. Ooh, maybe this attack isn't going as well as they thought. Let's just see. Okay, just before the Germans do anything else, they're going to start doing some rallying over here in this corner. So first of all, these ones are going to do a 3 dice rally because they've got 2 shock. I just need them to get rid of it. 6, 6, 6. There you go. Number of these. So that's all they've done. That's them used up. Now we've got this company over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get them, platoon over here. I'm going to try to rally them, and then they're going to fire at this building. So let's just see on that. 3, no. So they can either rally or fire. I'll tell you what, I'm going to turn them around and they are going to fire. So they've turned around, so I'm going to count that as a move. So they're only firing with 2 dice, basically firing into buildings with a spotting dice, but the Soviets are suppressed in there. So let's just see what happens. We got a 5, that's a hit, and a 4 for the spot. So Soviets are spotted. That's a, let's see what they do. 4, they've saved it anyway, so no effect there. The next one is this little group of fellas here. Now they've got a question. What do? They're going to try to rally. They're going to try to rally that shock off first up. 5, yes, they've rallied it, so they can now also fire. So they are going to fire at the Soviets. Firing in a building, they're not moving. 4d6 plus a spotting dice. I always forget about those multiple 6s with the Germans firing. They're not spotted. They've got 6 and 3 1s, so that's 1 hit on the Soviets. That's gonna. I was thinking about piling them into those Soviets, but I don't know. Well, we'll see. Soviets have saved it. I don't know if it's worthwhile them just charging in, using a company commander order to charge in. The company commander's at the back. Well, actually, no, he moved, so he can't do anything else anyway. So they are where they are. That's the end of the Germans' turn. Okay, so first orders is the Soviets have charged into the Panzerschreck there. I should have done this before. They're firing before they go in, so they're using 4d6 and a spotting dice. Let's just see if that does anything. So they've not spotted, but they've hit 2. Germany's serving on a 3 up. 3 up, 3 and a 4, so they've saved those. Now the Germans, what are they going to do? Are they going to run away? I think they will do actually, because they want to hold on to that fella if they can. So that's just going to be a retreat move, and that is 16 inches back, but at least it's got rid of the Panzerschreck threat for now, which is a good thing. So that just goes back there. And the Soviets have taken that area, and then they've also moved in the 2 new T-34s. These did a rapid move, so they're not firing. I just wanted to get them on the table as quick as possible, really, to start rolling over the Germans in this flank as well. So what's happened over here is that the Soviets have moved forward on the combat patrols, then deployed onto it. This is from C Company, so this is. Got a flamethrower attached, but it's just out of range of the Germans in that building, but they are firing at them. It's not going to be great shots, but they are firing with 2 dice and a spotting dice. because they moved and firing into buildings. They've spotted and 2 hits, sounds pretty good for them. And the Germans are then saving on 4s. 2 fails, so that's actually 2 suppression on those Germans in there. They don't really have the points to fire back, so they're not going to. So what we're going to do, I think, is we're going to use a company commander order over there for C Company. This is this guy here. We've still got 2 orders left, so I'm going to give them another order, and then I'm going to try to move them closer and maybe use that flamethrower. So let's just see. So see how much it costs them extra. 5 is 2 orders, so that's already put 1 down, so that's going to use up that order as well. And then they are going to move and then hopefully get into range with that flamethrower. So let's do that. 9 inches, they're definitely in. I don't want them to go into close combat, so I want them just a little further away than an inch. So I want them to be there, but they are now within range with that flamethrower, which I believe gives them 66 in their next attack. I'll double check that. Yes, 66 for the flamethrower. So we've got, they moved, they're firing, but then we've also got that 66 as well on top with that flamethrower. So let's just see if that does anything to those Germans who are currently cowering in that building. So, they spotted them, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits on them, blimey, and spotted as well. So the Germans are saving on 4s up with 6 hits, and they have failed 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. So that's 1, 2, 3, just put that on there, and a 4th is potentially another one. So 5 or a 6, and it is a 2. No, it isn't. But that has suppressed them and pretty much got their head down, hasn't it? Wow. Okay, so we got that command crisis for the Germans' first FUBAR. So they roll their dice. Let's see what it is. It's a 5. Soviets' first attempt is a 2. Soviets' second attempt is a 3. No, so they don't lose any HQ points, but they have got a FUBAR. Okay, so here's the next turn's command roll. So both of them got 1. We're down by dice now because both have got a FUBAR. Both have got 1 HQ point. The Germans then have got 5 against the Soviets 2, but the Soviets rolled a 9 with their 2 is 11. The Germans rolled a 3 with their 5 is an 8. So the Soviets have got the initiative for once, and they have taken that extra order for it. Okay, so we're back in a village where the fighting is going on still. What happens over here is going to depend very much what happens on the rest of the table with the Soviets. First of all, they're going to try to rally these with a 1d6, see if they can rally off that shock. Yes, they've rallied off 1 shock. They were on 2, they're bringing it down to 1. Now they are going to fire at those Germans, so they are using 5d6 minus 2 more dice because they've got shock, and into buildings using a spotting dice as well. So let's just see. Hitting on 4s up, not spotted. They have got a machine gun though, so they are re-rolling 3 of those. Let's see, 1 hit, not spotted. The Germans are saving on a 3 up. They've saved that, so that's okay for them. Right, now the next Soviet attack is going to be these guys here. These are using their flamethrower and they're just firing into it. Now depending on how many they kill in here, they might go in for the close assault, they might just sit and wait, or is it worthwhile going for a close assault anyway? There's only 2 German sections in there and they are suppressed. Yeah, close assault, we're going to go in. So we've got 6d6 for the flamethrower. I'm just going to add these up so it's easier. So then we've also got 6d6 for the actual guys going in as well. I don't even have enough dice kicking around with me. But that's going to drop down to 2 because they're firing into buildings and also moving as well. So it's 8d6 in total with a spotting dice. So 4's up on all of these. Let's see. Not spotted, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hits on the Germans. Blimey, that's probably as good as it's going to get, isn't it? 7 saves, saving on 3 up because they haven't been spotted. 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. That's enough. That's killed them. That has wiped out the Germans. They are halfway to their second foobar, and they were going to a close assault, so they've declared it, so they've got to charge. So let's just see how far they get. 8 inch, so that's got the Soviet engineers into that building, and it is cleared again of Germans. So that was probably the best thing they could have done, I think. Just to show you quickly what's happened here, because now this area is completely clear of Germans, the Soviets moved forward their combat patrol up to the town square basically, and then deployed another platoon there. So now they're arriving in strength at least. So now we're going to switch over to the left flank of the Soviets and see what they do there. Right, so first of all, we've got the Germans, the 2 Soviet sections are going to fire at the Germans here. Unfortunately for the Germans, they're out of their line of sight and their arc of fire, so they can't do a great deal. So that's going to cost 1 order and then another order there. And then T-34 is going to fire. When the T-34s open up, however, the Germans are going to reveal that 88mm gun up on the hill, and that is going to fire at those T-34s as well. So we've actually finally shined it. So I am going to fire first of all then. These are just going to pile fire into these Germans basically and try to kill them off if they can. They are obscured though, because they are at least in the fields. So, well, the first one is actually, the other one's going to fire at this combat patrol because it has to. So it's firing at combat patrols. They are well, they're combat patrols, so they're saving off 3 anyway. We need to get rid of it. 3 hits on a combat patrol. It is saving on a 3-up. It hasn't saved, so that's off anyway. So that was the first bit of firing. But it has got rid of that combat patrol, which is a good thing, because that was blocking the advance. Now we are firing with the rest. So we've got, first of all, I'm going to start with the infantry. They're firing here at the Germans with 6d6 and a spotting dice. And, ooh, that's a good number, that's 5 hits and spotted. So 5 hits on those Germans, first of all. 2, 4, 5 hits. So these are saving then on a 4-up. That is 1, 2, 3 fails. So 1, 2, so that's a KIA roll. I didn't know which one that one was, sorry. Reroll it. A 2. So they've not KIA'd them, but they have suppressed them. Now, unfortunately for the Soviets, they just don't have enough orders. Well, let's hold on. Instead of firing those T-34s, I've got 3 orders left. So, we're going to order these to charge in against those Germans with the company commander order. So I'm going to put that down. So it's going to cost 1 order anyway. Let's see how many extra orders it's going to cost as well. This is hopefully where the Soviets roll a 6, otherwise they've got no HQ orders left. A 2, it's costing them 2 extra orders, which is their all of their HQ orders. But they're just wanting to get in. So they will fire before they go in, so that's 4 dice. They don't need spotting dice because they're suppressed, so they're automatically saving on 3-up. See how many hits we get. This time it's 3 hits. Germans then for saving on a 3 or above. Oh god, that's not good. That is 3 full hits, so that's 1 section off straight away, plus a KIA roll. 4. Nope, they've saved it. Now the Soviets are going to try to charge in. Let's see how far away they are. They are currently 7 inches away. So they need to get a 6 or above. 10, they've done it. So they're in contact with those Germans. Now the Germans, do they run? I think they're going to try to. They're going to use one of their orders to try to run, because they'd be silly not to, I think. So they need a 4 or above to be able to do it. No, they don't, so they have to stand and fight. It's not been very good in this circumstance, has it? So anyway, Soviets are rolling 6 dice against 2 dice for the Germans. Again, all hits count. 1, 2, 3 hits from the Soviets, 1 hit from the Germans. So just put 1 marker there, so that is a full KIA. for sure, and then also a KIA roll as well, so 5 or a 6. 1, no, but they will then run away, and also we've got a test to see if they disperse as well. So let's just see, that might bring the Soviets up to their next foo bar on the Germans. We'll count up in a second. So they run away 12 inches, which isn't going to be enough to get them off the table, but do they disperse? 4 and above they don't. 4 they don't. They run away 12 inches, but they have lost 2 there. So they're currently on 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. So yes, that is actually a second foo bar for the Germans, so that was well worth doing. So, command crisis roll for the Germans. They've got a 2. Soviets, first attempt. 6. Soviets, second attempt. A 1. No, they don't lose any HQ points at least. So at last the Germans have revealed their 88. That's firing at this Soviet T-34 here. Let's just see what happens with it. 7 up. Oh, it's a 12. That's a hit. So it's a +1 on their strike dice. So that becomes 12 against 7. So it's a -5 on the save roll for the Soviets. Bang. 3 minus 5. That is a definite bang. That's the power of the 88. So that's another Soviet hit. Is that another foo bar? I'm not entirely sure. Let me just double check. I think they're pretty close, if nothing else. No, the Soviets are currently on 7. 1 more and it will be a foo bar. And then over here the Germans have moved one of their combat patrols into the building again, and then they've deployed here, and they are now firing at those Soviets. They are firing at them at close range this time, so it's going to be a +1 on the dice, but they are in that field, so once again they're obscured. So let's have a look. Hitting on 4s up. We'll definitely cock, so let's re-roll that. So that's 1, 2 hits and spotted. So 2 hits and a spot. So that is going to be saving on a 4 up. Both failed, so that's suppressed those Soviets. The Germans charge in here. Ooh, that's a tricky question, isn't it? They've got 5 HQ points. Do you know what? Let's do it. Actually, I haven't spent the rest of their actual orders yet, so they are going to do it. Why not? So we'll spend another order, and then we'll have to roll to see how many extra orders it costs. And first rate battalion, let's just quickly roll that, see how many it costs. I've got 1 extra order in my hand, and then also HQ orders as well. A 2, it costs 2 more orders, so that's just stick another one down, and then 1 from their HQ. So I'll just take that off while I remember. And there we go, down to 4. They are once again going to fire and then charge in, because why wouldn't you? So 4, 5 because they're about to move but close range, plus spotting dice. Well, they don't need spotting dice because they're already suppressed, but they have hit 4 hits there. So the Soviets are saving on 3s up, and they failed 2, so that is a Soviet kill straight away. And now the Germans, let's see how far they get. Well, actually, to be honest, they're like 2 inches away, so they're going to get in, but let's just see. Let's roll for it. 4 inches they are in. These are the actions of desperate men, but they're just trying to break the Soviets on the foo bars at this point. So they've got him. Soviets are defending with 2 dice. The Germans are defending with 6 dice. So I don't think it's going to go too well for these beleaguered Soviets at this point. I think they've actually just hit a foo bar by losing that one, but because this is all one action, I'm doing it all together. So let's see. So the Soviets have caused 1 damage on the Germans. I'll put that in. There we go. The Germans, on the other hand, have caused 2 on the Soviets, so that has caused another kill, an absolute kill. So Soviets lose, so they will fall back. Germans get that rally roll. Forgot to do it before, but I rolled it off screen, and it was for the Soviets, that is, 4, and they failed. But the Germans there have passed. So the Soviets run away, and I've got to test to see if they disperse as well. So let's have a look, see how far they run. 9 inches back, that's not going to take them off the table. But let's see if that unit disperses. 1, yes it does, so that is 3 kills there for the Soviets. Let me just again top that up. So that's 10 kills in total for the Soviets, so yeah, that's another foo bar for definite. Germans only need to kill 2 more Soviet sections and they've won this game. Okay, it's the Germans' last turn, and they just need to destroy 2 more sections of Soviets. So what they're going to do is actually try to call in artillery, and they've only got 1 artillery mission. They've done nothing with it at all game, neither of the Soviets, because they've just been too close to one another really. So they're actually going to go for divisional. Go big or go home, you know, that's what it's all about, isn't it? So they're going to need a 7 or above really for this. Let's just see what happens. So we're rolling our dice. So they have got a 10. That is German Russian. This is rockets. Wow, crikey. Okay, so they get some rockets coming in, some Nebelwerfers. So these are 9d6 hits. This is hitting with a 6-inch burst as well, so we're going to go with that central point there being this one here. So actually, bloody hell, that covers quite a lot of the Soviets. So it's the ones in the building, plus those ones in our building, plus the ones here in this building as well. So that has absolutely done some damage, and they are doing 9d6 hits against each of those targets. So we're going to have to work our way through. Maybe the Germans could win it on this. Like I said, need to destroy two sections at this point. There might be enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got my 9 dice. Let's just have a look at any if there's any minuses or anything. And so I need to roll for their accuracy. Let's do that first of all. 11. That's a critical hit, so that's an extra dice on the 9 dice they already have. Well, the ones in the buildings get -1 dice because of they being in buildings. However, because of that critical hit, they get +1 dice, so it goes back to normal. But we've got 10 hits on these guys here, 9 on these, 9 on these. So we're going to be rolling for those. So I'm going to start with the actual ones, the targeting ones. So that is, they're hitting on a 4 or above. So let's just give those a roll. See what we've got. We've got 1, 2, 3 hits, and this, as I say, is accurate fire. So that's 3 hits. They are saving on a 4 up. Oh god, failed all of them. So that is them suppressed. That is now making me think about what they're going to do with those last couple of points they've got. But anyway, we'll think about that in a second. Right, so the next hits on the ones in the other building, the wooden building here. Let's just remember there's also a company commander in there as well, so he's going to take some hammer as well. So, first of all, the actual unit itself. Let's have a look. They're taking 2 hits. So we can go with that relatively lightly, but they're saving on a 4 up. 4 and a 6 they've saved, no problems. Then it's that company commander, so let's just check for him. 9 hits, well 9 potential hits again, so he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits on him. And let's just roll those. He is saving on a 3 because he's the company commander anyway. He's failed 2 of them, so that's made him suppressed. And then KIA'd him as well, so he is actually off the table. I think, no, it's a KIA roll, so let's just see, 5 or 6 and he's done. No, he's still on the table. I'm just thinking on my feet there. I think that's how it works. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Don't worry, it's just a game. And then we've got 10 hits, or 10 potential hits against those ones in the village square itself. So they're going to take some damage as well. So let's just see. So 4, 5, 6. 6 going to be open. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits on these ones. This might not be good for these. Saving on 4s up. Potential for 3 kills. So 4 kills in total. So that is them suppressed and a KIA roll. So let's just roll to see. 5, yes, that is one of them taken out. There is an MMG attached there. 1 or 2, that has gone as well. 4, no it isn't, so it's one of the infantry. Now, they only need to destroy 1 more section and then it is game over. The other thing is as well, these need to actually move out of the fire or they take another hit, as do these ones as well. Another shock. They're going to. I'm going to have to pull them out, I think, because otherwise another shock is probably going to be another. It's going to be more damage on them. Yes, I'm going to have to pull them out, I'm afraid. Everybody's going to have to fall back, so the entire Soviets are going to fall back there. So unfortunately the Germans were going to try to attack with their units over there and finish off the Soviets, but they just didn't get a chance. So I'm going to pull all those Soviets back and we'll see where we go from there. Okay, it's our next turn. These are the rolls. Both are only rolling 7 dice now because both are on 2 foobarrs. Germans didn't get any HQ points, so they got 2, 4, 6, 7. Company orders. Oh, sorry, I've only put 6 out there, so there's their 7th. Soviets got 1 HQ order and then 6 company orders as well. I've rolled the dice for the initiative. The Germans got 7 and sorry, they got 7 in total. The Soviets got 8, but the Soviets have only got 1 HQ point, so that becomes a 9. The Germans have got 2, so that becomes a 9 as well. A tie-off, the Germans win it, so they are going to, but they don't get an extra order because but they automatically win a tie anyway. So the Germans are taking the initiative because they just really need to at this point. First things first, the 88 on the hill. Using up an action, it is going to fire at that Soviet tank down here, the last remaining one. It needs 7 up to hit, so let's see if it does it. That's a hit. Now, so it's going to be a -4 on the Soviets save, so, and it is in the open. 3 -4, bang, gone. That's it. That is the last. That's the last section that the Germans require to destroy. It's gone. So another one is gone, and that is game over because that's the 3rd foobar inflicted on the Soviets. The Germans win. Alright folks, there we have it. That is the 12th section destroyed by the AT on the hill, the 88mm that was laying in ambush all of the time, and then it whacked out the final Soviet tank over here. What I was trying to do with these was actually just push them into the village itself and help clear the village out, but they obviously got caught by that 88mm. Would it have been better bringing them on over this way through the woods? Possibly, but I think they would have still got caught out in the open by that 88 anyway. That was this is where the Soviet defenders, who I moved them back instead of taking more hits, this is where they all ended up. So they're actually out of the buildings. They managed to get in. The high watermark definitely was this building here, and push forward, and I very much thought it was going to be a Soviet victory very early on, especially when they ran through these 2 houses. I think they did that pretty perfectly, to be honest, of bringing up the extra firepower and then using those company commander orders just to push in that final kick the door in, basically, in both cases. And I think that's really what you should be using them for in our group. I mean, they're very useful, so definitely use them you know, as you can. But I've also got to the point as well where I'm using up HQ orders far more these days than I ever was in the past. Also as well, I tried out in this game is using the combat patrols a little bit more than just deployment zones. So for example, using the one over here, although it did turn into a deployment point, was just basically to try to block that Soviet push forward over here, because obviously combat patrols can only get within 8 inches of an enemy unit. So if you've got one further forward, like the one here in the field, that was just literally stopping this unit getting forward, and I either had to deploy or destroy the combat patrol. So I think they're very useful if you look at them beyond them just being combat patrols. I am writing a script at the moment about combat patrols and about how to use them in O Group, and I think this game has possibly demonstrated some of their uses beyond those. You know, use them as a scouting point, use them as a line of skirmishers almost to absorb hits, and it doesn't matter if they get come off. You know, even if you're late in the game, keep putting them on the table, because they will interfere with your enemy's plans. They just give you more choice where to deploy as well. So even if you deploy 2 units, have 3 combat patrols on the table, because you've then got 3 choices as to where to deploy. But it was, like I say, I was just really just testing them out, really, and just seeing what else they can do in a game. One thing I kept forgetting, well, not forgetting, but one thing that didn't get used was the Soviet artillery, and I probably really should have done. I should have, but I was kind of wanted to get into the village as quick as possible with the Soviets, so they were always really up against the edge of the German fighting line, which makes using artillery very difficult, because you have to be within you can't be within 8 inches of your aiming points or any friendly unit. So that was the real bugbear for the Soviets there. I mean, could they have won this? They needed to kill, I think, at least 4 more sections. The Germans have lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so they needed 4 more sections to be destroyed. I mean, there's a pretty badly damaged unit there. These guys are kind of in the open. It could have been a rollover from the tanks, and also that unit there. They could have pushed in and taken out 3. Potentially, they could have done something. I don't know. I think it was that rocket attack that really buggered things up for them, because they had to fall back away from it, otherwise take more damage. And I didn't want them to take damage. I would have preferred to pull them back, get them sorted out, and then push them back in again. But that was just when that 88 strike occurred and took out the... I think if the Soviets had probably got the initiative in that last turn, things might have been slightly different, because I probably would have been able to just recover some of the suppressions over here. But the Germans got it, they hit it, and God, I mean, that was a tough, close fight for both sides, and it could have gone either way. Another fantastic game of O Group. I say it after every one, but that was a great one as well. Totally different result to the game in the club as well. So it just shows you, that you can get a good balanced game out of it. It can go either way. Alright, well, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and this O Group video done on a poll. I'm going to do a Through the Mud and the Blood video next. I'm not sure when that'll be, but I'm sure it'll be soon. So stay tuned for that as well. But thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed it, if you want to help out the channel, you can hit the like and subscribe buttons. You can also help me out with Patreon, with keeping lights on here over at Steel Towers. And I will wrap up there and say thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next Storm of Steel video.